that one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality. Would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Crossroads to Awakening show. I'm your host, Wendy Paquette, and I'm a holographic mind reprogrammer. I help humans stuck at a crossroads awaken to their true selves and change the world from where they stand. Because I believe as a high frequency human, how you see your reality is exactly the programs that are in your mind. And if you're not liking your reality, those programs can be shifted. So that's what we're here for. That's why we've come to play in this reality right now for you here on this radio show in the Inspired Choices Network. So let's get started. Today is an amazing second part to last week's show. And if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it, because it is the premiere to the 3-part series in manifestation here in the 3D to 5D experience, because we're headed there. This is where we're going. So if you're not in alignment with your true being, if you're not having fun, if you're not passionate about anything, then let's face it, you're going to feel the repercussions of that gap between where you are and where you get to be. So my role here now is to show you what's truly possible. We're going to do that with manifestation, and how on this show, starting last week, was about finding a dollar coin. Now, as easy as I found that to be, I realized that, here in Canada, we have the loonie, which is $1, but in America, they also have dollar coins as well. And I learned that because I received one, and I had kept it in my purse because I didn't want to spend it. And when I went to get it, I realized that there was more to the story. So let me just recap a little bit from last week, where we went with the tired of the 3D experience and ready for manifestation in 5D. So it's a multi-dimensional insight. And what that means is you're going to be faced with the programs that are etched into your brain so that you can shift them. And what I mean by shift them is transmute the code that I call a program in your mind to either a blank code that can be filled by you, or replace it with something that you really want. So there's a million things, and I know that could go anywhere, but that's what I do in the world, and that's what's truly possible. But for the simplicity of the show and this experiment with you with a dollar coin, let's go there. Last week, we decided we were going to test ourselves to see our capacity to manifest a dollar coin, because when you see how easy it is to manifest a dollar coin, you will see how easy it is to manifest anything in your reality. Now, what you're going to find was all sorts of crazy. Because as easy it is to know, and I'm stumbling quickly over my words because I'm so passionate about this topic, what you're going to find is that you know that dollar coins exist. You know that they're out there in the world. You know that you've had one. But when you went to source one, when you went to find one or see one, or when you are in allowance of actually seeing one in your reality, based on last week's show, that was your instruction: find or source or discover, or allow yourself to discover a $1 coin. What you're going to find is either you sourced one, which means that you were able to see one, you had one in your wallet, you found one, or you were given one, or you didn't. In which case, that simple move of having a request of yourself is going to show you all the programs. It's going to show you all the programs that are etched into your brain that are causing your reality to show up as it is. Isn't that fun? I mean, to me, it's really fun because it's going to show me exactly where your blocks are, and those blocks can be shifted. And if those blocks are shifted into something that you would like to have or would like to experience, then you'll experience it. But how do you know what those programs are, or what those coded, blocks are, or I call them lies, if you don't actually face your reality and ask for something and then realize that you're not getting it? The frustrating part is that you're going to be frustrated and irritated at the fact that you didn't find one. And the other part is, the flip side of that frustration is the fact that you get to identify the program and then access what's possible underneath that program. So let's just go through what we're going to experience today on this show, and then I'll lead you to the next one. But last week was about identifying that it's possible, that manifesting is real. It's actually possible here in this reality, moving into 5D, a multidimensional experience. It's so easy. It's not even funny. It's thinking it and it shows up. And how we were going to practice doing that was finding a dollar coin. So your week was to find the dollar coin. Now, if you're listening to this on a replay or you're listening to it live, it is, what did you discover? So part 2 is, what did you discover? So we're going to go through all the ways that you could have discovered programs by how and if that coin showed up for you. Then next week, we're going to talk about how we can change any of the programs that did show up. So right now we're going to identify them all. And it seems like a long time, like you figure you're going to listen to this for how many minutes, 50 minutes maybe, on how to identify the programs. But let me tell you something. The most incredible part about finding the programs is that you can actually shift them. They can be shifted. So identifying them is actually the number one thing. And the only way to source those programs is to put your eye on something and then call it forward so that you can actually have it, right? We're starting with the dollar coin because it could be $1 and it could be $1 million, but your brain won't let you go to the $1 million because you've never had it. Or if you have, you don't think that it's possible to have it again or to recreate that possibility. And most of us, and myself was included in that space of lack. And lack is lack is lack. So if it's showing up for you, it's going to show up in a million different ways, and you're just not going to realize it until it's pointed out to you, until you see the program. So let's see if we can teach you how to see the programs. And this will apply everywhere in your life, but we're going to use the $1 coin in order to realize that. So my first questions would be, did you find, see, or source or receive a $1 coin? That's the number one thing. Did you? Right? I'm going to tell you the story of me as we're walking through, because right now you're listening and I'm speaking. And so I don't know what your answers are, but I could tell you I have experienced all of your answers, whatever they're going to be, from finding it to not finding it to it taking an hour or a minute or a week, or not finding it at all and thinking this shit's bunk, right? So I've heard it all, and I've transmuted all of those programs so that you can have it. So let's lean into that you did find it. Okay, so my story is this. I sourced the dollar coin, and when I pulled it out, when I was talking to my friends about this experience on the radio show, I pulled the dollar coin out, and I was telling them like what it looked like, and to my chagrin, some of them didn't even know that they were still in circulation. Like, I live in Canada. Okay, so what are the possibilities that I would have an American dollar coin that I received as change when I was over there? Well, it's going to be the better part of three quarters of a year ago. I got the dollar coin as change from, I think I went to a food truck in Detroit, and that was my change. So I just thought they were everywhere, right? Abundance. There is a program for me, super abundance, which is great. I'm like, yeah, man, I guess they're doing the dollar coin thing too. How cool. And I was looking at it. And so as I was telling my friends about it, they're like, where'd you get that? Right? Their curiosity and that I even found one or had one was a little bit shocking to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you have these everywhere? Like, didn't you got, I know you have the dollars, like bills, and I see you got the dollar coins. Like, that to me was normal, but it's not. And what that tells me is that there's a lot of programs out there that are in lack or scarcity because money is elusive in that type of denomination, right? Coming up as a coin, as something that, looks a little different than their dollar. Okay, so that's one thing. So that I started to look at the coin itself and say, what is on this coin? Like, I was talking about the pictures, right? And I was, being an ignorant human by not actually looking at it ahead of time. So I'm looking at the coin, and I'm actually should have grabbed the coin while I was sitting here. There was a picture on it. On one side of a person, and the other side had an element. So I think one was an eagle. And so they're my friends from America, where they're all able to identify this coin, which was amazing. They all knew about it, and not one of them had one. Okay, no big deal. That to me was an identification of, so my interpretation of sourcing money, sourcing a dollar is different than a lot of people that I know. And I'm just speaking in my reality. Okay, great. So now what? They had a million questions about the coin that I found. I'm like, well, are there more of these? And they had a million bits of information about it, but no one actually had one. Turns out there's a bunch of different kinds. And as I opened up my purse, I go, oh, that's really interesting. I was about to pull out a loonie to compare the US dollar coin and a loonie in the Canadian dollar coin. And what I found was 5 more US dollar coins, all different years, different pictures. It was crazy. So I was not only sourcing, I thought I only had one, right? Not only did I source one, I sourced 5. In the 5, I sourced 5 different ones. And in that moment, my friends were in shock, like, oh my gosh, how did you get all those? To me, it was just dollar coins from America, like money. To them, it was like something out of their reach. Like, oh, you don't find those anymore. You don't see those anymore. You just don't actually use those. And it goes to show you the difference in perspective, right? My thought was open. Their thought was, it was a distant thing for them. So as I'm noting down all of these things that occurred, I asked them, what would it take for you to find a dollar coin? Or open up your purse and see one, or look around your room, or receive one at the store if you were to give them cash. And all of them said, well, I haven't seen one in a long time. They thought they were worth something more than $1. They had all of these things show up for them. So that was my story with the dollar coin. To me, I was like, wow, I get to look into this further. How ironic that I choose that as the thing to source. And then I source multiples of them, all different ones. And then the friends that I talk to about it don't source any. That is a reflection of programs in my reality as well, that there is a difference between my version of abundance with money and someone else's, right? I'm sourcing a differentiation there. And I'm embodying it. I'm receiving from everywhere. Who knows if all those coins were in my purse last week, right? I don't know. I didn't look there. So, so many things have occurred in this space. Not only have I discovered from just that conversation in sourcing the dollar coin, my viewpoint of what it looks like, I was able to take that, log it, and then ask a whole bunch of people what they thought about it and how they sourced them and what they knew about all of this, so that I could see how our realities are so different. Boy, do I have a lot to share with you. I know we're going to break in about just under 3 minutes, and it's been a really fast few. But what I've come to learn is that you all have access to this. You all have access to sourcing anything you want, and receiving it and seeing it in your reality is only a matter of deleting the programs that get in the way, that don't allow you to have it. It's not a difficult thing if you know that that is possible. It's only difficult if you think that you can't. And even that's a program, and it's written everywhere, because that is what the 3D reality is. It is all the laws of duality, the programs of lack, scarcity, and then the opposite of that. So you're going to see both sides, lack and scarcity and abundance. And it's in the parameters of a code. The code, the 3D world of code. And when you start looking around, you see code everywhere. Not only do you see it in your computer, but everything has a code, no matter what it is. Everything that you see on your computer, on your phone, anything that is a device, a digital device, has code. It was written with code. Even the computers itself were created by a code that put those pieces together to create the whole computer, the physical aspect of the computer. So if you can see it in its logical sense, right? Code inside of a computer, code that created the physical pieces of the computer to put them together themselves. Where else can you see code? I'm going to give you a little secret. Everywhere. It's the 3D reality. So hopping from the 3D to the 5D is a matter of hopping out of the code and seeing the world from a space without code, pure possibility, right? So while you're in the 3D reality, you're seeing everything through code as code, including a dollar coin. When you pop into a 5D multidimensional experience, there is no code. There's no need to even think in that nature, because those don't exist there. The codes don't exist in that way. Oh, there's just so much. I sourced so many ideas and so many thoughts around this in the last like few days since I did the first episode of this, because I was so passionate about what it actually looks like. And what it looks like, I mean, what does the code look like in order to break free from it? Right? Because that's a code as well. My thought was going into that space of how do I identify a code that breaks people out of the cold? You can't do that because that's the code still 3D. So let's get back to sourcing the coin, because man, there's a million things that go on with this opportunity that will change your whole life. It's not just about $1. So we're going to go right into a break right now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what you might have sourced. And I'm going to lean into a couple of examples of what I know about what my friends shared with me about not finding it. And we're going to dive into a bit of what those programs look like. So we're on the Inspired Choices Network, and you're listening to me, Wendy Paquette, on the Crossroads to Awakening show. We will be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
All right, welcome back. Boy, it feels like a really, not heavy, but it feels like a really dense program, in that there's just so much downloading happening at one time. And I feel for you, it's you receiving that there's more to this reality than what meets the eye, right? Because sourcing $1 coin, when we started out, like super light idea, if we can source a dollar coin, we can source $1 million of any form. It seems easy and dreamy, yet it's 100% possible, like 100% possible. So when I look at when you say you didn't, I'm going to speak to those of you who did not source a dollar coin, you didn't see it in your reality anywhere. Where would you go in your mind if you decided that you wanted something that was normal for you? Right? So we don't even have to talk about something big. We just get to talk about something simple. What if, I don't know, what are some things that are simple that you would want? I mean, to me, everything seems simple. I lean into big things. What if I wanted to go back to school? Or that seems like a good one to lean into, because a lot of us are really, leaning into the space of possibility. What makes us passionate? What did you always want to do that you never chose? That's to me as easy and as similar as a dollar coin. Okay, so let's go back. We'll lean into that in a moment. If you didn't source a coin, what thoughts came into your mind about why you didn't? Did you automatically go to, well, that's not possible, I don't have one? because that's an idea, right? That's a program. Did you go into, well, you know what? I didn't go out anywhere, so I didn't give myself the opportunity to receive change from someone. Like that's the only place it could come from, someone else. Or did you go into, you know what? I haven't seen a dollar coin in a really, really long time. I mean, it's not even possible for me to find one. They probably don't even have it in circulation. So where did your mind go? And did you get frustrated with the fact that I invited you to find a dollar coin and you immediately went to, it's not possible, right? It's not possible. I don't have one. I haven't seen one. Check where your mind went, because wherever your mind went, that's exactly the program that you're carrying. And if you look around your reality, it is everywhere, because a program in your brain doesn't just happen with one little thing you think about. It's just showing itself to you when you are able to identify it. What you're really seeing is everywhere you look, that program is the filter in which you source from. So if immediately you went to, it's not possible, I haven't seen one, where I'm going to lean back into the whole, like maybe you decide you want to go back to school. Where do you think the program fits in there when you go, you know what? What if I went back to school? Like I really wanted to go to school to be a scientist, right? Your mind automatically in that program, your brain in the program is going to go, well, that's not possible because you haven't done it before and you don't even know what would it take. And maybe you can't afford it. Maybe it's just not possible from that space. That program will automatically kick in and shut you down, right? Automatically. Now, just because it's shutting you down in that moment, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. What it means is that program's running, and everywhere you look and everything you think you want is not possible because you're automatically going to go to that individual program, right? It's not possible because of whatever you decided. So notice that program, right? Now you get to take a step back and go, wait a second. If I have that program and it's showing up for all the things that I want, my gosh, what could I have if that program was deleted? Or better yet, transformed into something that that was like enhancing my reality, because that's possible too. So that's one way. Another way would be, well, you know what? I saw one last week in the dish, in the coin dish in my bedroom. I'm going to go find it. So you're going to automatically go to the past to dictate the possibility in your future. Do you see where I'm going with this program right now? So you're going to go back and you're going to hunt through the change dish in your bedroom for that dollar coin because you are sure you saw it there. You're going to hunt for it and find it there. And that dictates where your mind goes, right? It's not about the coin dish and that it could or could not be there still. It's that you automatically went to the space of the past. The program would be, everything that I want to do has evidence in the past of its possibility. Now, are you hearing what I'm saying here? Do you really think that your past has the possibility or permission to dictate your future, or is that a program in your brain? Like, are you kidding me? Imagine the things that you could have if you didn't compare it to your past, if you didn't let your past dictate your future, because it's not even possible. If you'd like to repeat all of your past, then by all means, go to your past, but that's a program too. So, think of the million ways we could shift that one. Shifting the automatic look to the past to automatically seeing the possibility in the future, something that's not even been created yet, based on zero evidence and zero results. You get to have it just because you said you wanted it. That's 100% the place to play in. So what if you did source a coin and it took you a week? And every day you thought about the coin, but you didn't see one. And so you looked around for it. And part of you was like, I don't really believe it's possible to actually just source a coin. I think you got to do something to get it, right? So perhaps you did go purposely out to the store to find a coin. You asked for it. You said, hey, this is what I'm looking for right now. Do you have any dollar coins? I'm going to buy something. And with the change, can you give me a dollar coin? So where are you controlling or attempting to control your fate and possibility and sourcing and magic and manifestation with doing something? So where do you go for doing something in order to get what you want? This is a big, huge one for everybody. Doing to get, right? As though you couldn't just source it magically for manifesting and it just shows up, because that's not possible. I must do something in order to get something. I know so many people who are in that position who believe that to be true 100%, right? They believe that in order to get something, they must do something. And so maybe you sourced the coin, but you had to go out and do something in order to get it. So yes, you achieved the result, but not in the way that I was speaking of, not in the manifestation way of, you know what if it just showed up? What if it just landed in the coin jar and you looked there the other day and didn't see one and suddenly there you go? Or what if you knew you thought you had one and I pulled one out because I knew I had one. I had looked right at it when I received it, but then you reached back in and found 4 more. That's what I'm talking about. I honestly was like, if I keep looking in here, am I going to find another one? Like, how many times am I going to find one? Right? Until maybe there's a program in me that stopped me at 5. Maybe 5 is my limit. I don't know. It could be anything. In 3D reality, the programs dictate your reality. And you buy the programs. I always liken it to shopping. Imagine yourself with a shopping cart. You're wandering through the aisles of programs, right? Let's call the programs groceries. You're going through the grocery/program store and you're like, oh, hey, look, that macaroni and cheese says lack all over it. I'm going to buy it. Like, you know, or maybe it's a judgment where, say, the things in the aisles are alive and you're making some really powerful choices in your reality and you're shopping in this grocery store/program store and you see this box of, you know, whatever, noodles and cheese, look at you and go, don't you order this? Don't you buy this? You're not worthy of buying this. This is only for, you know, XYZ human. And you go, oh man, that box of noodles and cheese might be right. I buy that. I'm going to buy that judgment program. Done. So everywhere I go, now I'm carrying those programs with me. It's like, yes, bought it, you got it. You know that statement? It's true. Why? Because you spot the program that you bought, right? And it also goes towards the good things too. So yeah, I liken it to shopping because everywhere you go, you're going to buy a program subconsciously if you're unaware of it, until you become aware of it. And then you'll buy programs that you really want. You'll lean into and access the programs of possibility, magic, manifestation, quantum jumping, quantum leaping, shifting parallels, like where you want to be, that's where you're going to be. There's so many possibilities in those programs as well. It's only in the 3D reality that we have those programs. In order to pop out of it, we get to see that they're there, acknowledge them, and decide where we're going to head with it. Maybe you play around in 3D for a while when you're getting everything you want and you realize there's actually more, right? So we've identified a few programs now. If you decided that, you know, it's not possible, right? We're not getting it because it's not possible. You instantaneously knock it out of your zone of receiving. Or maybe you got to do to get. That's like the biggest one. I love talking into that one. Doing to get, you know, there are a couple levels of that reality. What if you used inspired action as your formula? Right? Maybe you can add, it's like adding, you know, the extra zest on top of the pasta, extra Parmesan cheese that you toss on top just to enhance the flavor. What if you knew that you could source anything, manifest anything by moving those programs or deleting those programs, but you could also add in extra things like receiving anything you want because you decided so, right? You're going to add on the extra possibilities. So many things. So we've kind of went through all the program, I say all, like they're ever ending. It's infinite programs. We went through 3 huge programs that could be stuck in the way of you actually having what you want when it's coming to leaning into having this coin. We're going to go into a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how we can shift them. and what's truly possible on the other side of seeing the program and then shifting it to something that we really want. Like, that is exciting. That's why we're here. We get to have all the things we want. And this world is 100% based on passion, fun, and manifestation and magic. It's really, really there for us. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what those words were, right? We know the words. That's because it's real. And I'm going to talk about that when we come back. So you're listening to me, Wendy Paquette, on the Crossroads to Awakening show, where you're awakening to all of your possibilities. Today, we're talking about manifestation, going from 3D to 5D, a multi-dimensional experience through manifestation. So when you come back, we'll talk about all the magic that you can access and how to access it. We'll see you on the other side.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
We had some magical friends join us. I see Jen said something in here about I get dimes all the time from my guides letting me know that I'm on the right track in places where there should not be a dime, or there wasn't a dime before. And that is so cool. So what if you asked Jen, if you asked your guides to, or your guides / your higher self, maybe your reflection of your guidance or what's possible for you or your magic, to leave you $1, a loonie, or an American dollar, what would that look like? And what if you could change the dime to something else? Because if you suddenly change that dime to another type of coin, you went up a level in its value, what do you think is possible for your life? That's the one thing that you get to lean into. If your life can be something so incredibly powerful where you can make a declaration or ask to receive, then open yourself up to that program. Because where do you ask for something and then go, you know what, I heard asking it is given is true. And I ask for stuff all the time and I don't receive it. Now, there's a few elements in that, right? Because there's the length of time, the construct time that we put ourselves in. And there is the true desire that you're putting forward. Do you really, really want that thing? Or are you just talking out of your brain, right? Because your brain only knows what you've taught it up until today, right? Until you shift your possibilities or shift those perspectives, it's going to be the same all the time. So the programs in your head will dictate your success in everything, not just in one thing, everywhere, because that program exists as well, right? Maybe you can look back to when you were a kid and remember a time when something was possible all the time. Like, you, as a kid, you know nothing else. You don't even know time. You just go by whatever your parents are leading you to. Like, hey, Wendy, it's dinner time. Come in. Oh, it's dinner time. Like, I've been playing for days, it felt like, right? In the space of no time. And things were magically possible for me all the time. What changed from then till now? Well, for me, not a lot. But life itself actually will get in the way and create you to buy programs, which I did. And then I discovered my own magical way of deleting programs, which I did. And then enhancing the programs that you really want there in order to have this magnificent life, which I also did. So those things are all possible. I also do those with clients. It's not impossible, it's possible. So you can do it yourself as well. The main thing is identifying where those programs live. Let me rephrase that. Not where they live, that they live, right? Because they're in your brain. I always liken it to the gray matter. The brain is the smallest aspect of the programs that are possible. When you go outside of that, you're talking about the mind, universal mind, multiversal mind, collective consciousness. And then you go beyond that to your higher self and then your oversoul, which is everything. You are all of that all at one time. We are only an aspect of ourselves in this reality. So this part of the show, what I would love to speak into is the greater aspect of oneness. Because when you're asking to see a coin or source a coin or magic a coin or manifest a coin, whatever word you'd like to place on it, all the programs come wrapped right in with your ask because you bought them and so they're yours. The difference being everything that you're looking at is you. It's this oneness perspective of, you know, some people call it like they're compassionate. They can feel and think about where the other person is at the time they're in it, and therefore can feel for them and be compassionate. Compassion is a huge aspect of it. But what if you know, that can be conditional. Like, what if you're looking at an experience and saying, well, yeah, that's her. That's not me. That's conditional. Like, that's not going to really work for anyone. It's just something your brain's telling you it's possible. It could be true. Right? So I can be compassionate for someone else, but what about compassion for you? What about compassion for everyone? Everything that's going on, like the reality is really messed up right now. So it seems, and is it really? Right? Only you're going to label it whatever you perceive it to be, or whatever reality you're choosing based on your program. So you're going to decide what your reality looks like right now in this, October of 2020. That's what your reality looks like, however you perceive it. And it can change with the programs that you are living through, right? So oneness is an aspect of our reality that we get to embody as a multidimensional being living in the 3D, moving to the 5D. Being everywhere you look is you. Everyone you see is you. Every experience you have is you living it out, an aspect of yourself. So it causes the compassion level to be amplified in the fact that no matter what you're looking at, you're you. So yeah, what am I saying? Are you Donald Trump? Yes, you are. Right? Are you Mother Teresa? Yes, you are. Are you your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, right? Your neighbor, the bum that's living on the street, living his happy life because that's where he wants to be? Yes, you are. You're all of those things. And the compassion comes from knowing that you are that, because your greater source is everything that you're seeing. This reality is a holographic world. Holographic is you're seeing you everywhere from a singular point. So when you're calling forward $1, it's not just $1, it's you. You are the dollar. Where are you calling yourself forward? Where you're not seeing yourself live in action. Where are you not seeing your value? Where are you not seeing your truth? Where are you not seeing you anywhere? Where are you looking for the past, into the past to see yourself? Where are you not allowing yourself to even look in the mirror to see your reflection, right? And on the other side, when you can see you everywhere, you can see magic, possibility, and love everywhere. Abundance, that's who you be. You're all those things, right? So when we step into the 5D magical experience of manifestation, knowing that those things are true, that you are everyone and everywhere, will cause you to see the programs that are stopping you from even manifesting something as small as $1 coin. Because the dollar coin has a larger representation. I mean, I take it to the, almost the, the material side of, if you can do $1, you can do 1,000,000. And yes, that's true. But the programs that show up that are stopping you, not only stopping you from seeing $1 or 1,000,000, they're stopping you from seeing you everywhere you look, right? Imagine if that dollar represents the value that you see yourself as. Kind of a rude awakening, don't you think? You're not even willing to see a small aspect of your own value in your reality? Like, come on, give yourself more credit. Everywhere you look, you'll place you'll place value on everything else you see based on whatever points of view you have, but yet you're not willing to give yourself that same value. When you do, you want to see coins flying out from everywhere. Like, you're going to see them everywhere you go. It's like someone who says, oh my God, every time I go for a walk, I find like a penny on the ground. And then they have a little saying, find a penny, pick it up. The rest of the day, you'll have good luck. Those people find pennies everywhere. Why? The program is that they find it and they get good luck because they find it, and they find it all the time. Multiple programs. They've decided it is true. They've received evidence that it is. They look back to the past to find the proof, and then they keep living that program out. What would happen if they decided that about a client? If you're a coach and you say, you know what, every time I open my mouth, I receive a new, beautiful, magnificent client that steps into my world that I get to support. And every time they open their mouth in, say, like a public setting, and they were sharing some information somewhere that occurred, would your life not be the most magnificent place you've ever lived? Especially if you're following your passion. That's another thing I get to speak into as well. Everybody's looking for their purpose, right? Okay, why don't we say the purpose is finding the dollar coin? Because if you could source a dollar coin, you can source anything. And if you could see the dollar coin, you could see everything. If you could see the value in the dollar, you can see the value in you, because you're sourcing all possibilities, right? So the purpose is to be passionate about something and then lean into it. Be passionate about anything, like not be like have to make yourself be passionate, but allow yourself to be passionate when it shows up for you. Do you even know what you're passionate about? Ask yourself that question. That's crazy. Because when you are passionate about something, and this topic is something that I'm passionate about, and I know it's true for sure, for certain, I've lived it and I am living it, and I support others to access it as well. There isn't a little tiny program in my field that tells me that it's not possible. I've already been through all of those and cleared them all. How do I know? I can source anything. Sometimes I think about something and it shows up on my front door. A neighbor walks over with it, or it comes in the mail. It's really bizarre and it's really cool. And I'm super mindful of what I think about all the time because of that. So the passionate part about this for me is talking about it, talking about joy. My joke, and my friends know this about me, is if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. Simple as that. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. If I'm not going to have fun, I'm not doing it. If it doesn't create joy, I'm not doing it. If it doesn't have the result of peace in some form, I'm not doing it. Why? Why should I? Because I know that my presence in the reality I'm living in, when I'm joyful and passionate and happy, those around me are experiencing that same frequency, and therefore they are embodying that piece of me as well. Because as a holographic reality means, they are me, I am them, they are then happy and passionate and joyful. So if I deliberately go against that and choose something that's not fun, or that's going to put me through some kind of, pain or resistance or anger or irritation or frustration, then I'm deliberately choosing to lean into a program that's going to cause that reality, and everyone around me is going to reflect that because they are me, right? I'm looking at the mirror everywhere I look. So what would you like to choose? Would you like to choose the passionate, fun, joyful reality that we're all after? Then be and create that. And let's talk about removing those programs and replacing them with possibilities and wide open spaces so that you can have the passion, the fun that you're after. It'll take deleting those programs to step into something new. Sometimes it just takes acknowledging the program, seeing it, listening to one of these episodes, and all of a sudden going, oh my gosh, that is the program. If you can't identify it, come find me, because I will. It's easy for me to see it. I can read it, I can identify it, and I can shift it just the same. It's not hard. It's a choice. This reality that we live in gets to shift because we're all headed there anyway. So the uncomfortable feeling, and I was describing this to my husband earlier, where you are at in your reality, if you're passionate, if you're patient with yourself, if you're joyful and experiencing love and fun, then you will create more of that, and that's where you're headed. So whatever it is you're up to, as long as you're headed in the direction that it creates those things, then you're on your way to experiencing something truly amazing. As we move up frequencies as humans on this planet that is consistently moving up in frequency, if you're doing something because you think you're supposed to, your parents told you to, you were indicated that that's what you must do, if you're not happy with your job, if you're not happy in a relationship, if you're deliberately staying in torture because you think that's what your life is made for, the gap between that and what you're passionate about is going to sting. It's going to hurt, because it's like getting, slapped in the face by your own true existence. Why you came here, to be a passionate, joyful, relator in a human body. So you have to identify those things that aren't making you joyful. and make the shift into something that will. Now, let's be fair. Those are programs that you bought and that you have been living since you bought them. And it has no right or wrong, no good or bad, no fault in place. Subconsciously, we buy these programs. And now you get to know that that's all it is a program. You didn't get the shitty end of the stick. You get to be here and be passionate and identify that, oh my goodness, that is a program. My life in frustration is a program, and it can be changed. The mere acknowledgement of it could cause a beautiful shift into something greater. And then you will see more possibilities everywhere you look. Okay, that's what I am passionate about, and you can tell, but it is possible, and you get to lean in towards it, and you're not alone. So that's the fun part. So we're going to go into our final break, and we're going to come back and talk about how you can reach me and how you can lean in, because there's all sorts of ways you can do this, and you can learn it on your own. You don't need me to do anything. You have those capacities. I'm here as a guide. So let's talk about that when we come back. My name is Wendy Paquette. You get to come back and play with me at your divine crossroads to awakening so that you can have everything you've ever wanted here and now. We'll see you in a minute.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the crossroads to awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Okay, now we're back, and this is a lot, and I know. And if you're listening to this in this moment, there is a divine reason why you're listening to it, because I am you, and you are me, and you sourced this moment in time so that you could hear yourself telling you the message that life gets to be passionately fun, because things get to turn around. And the more humans that know that this little teeny valuable thing exists in their reality, that it doesn't have to be shitty and crazy, it can be different, the quicker this world turns around, and all in its divine timing. And I realize that, and that's me showing up for my message as well, which is be passionate about what I love, which is all this work that we're talking about. And to me, it's not work, it's fun, and it's play, and it's joyful. I know that when I see someone that sits in front of me shift into a new reality because those programs have been deleted, there is no other way I would be anywhere else in this world except for here and now. Because really, truly, this is all you have, is here and now, right now. That's it. There is no other place, because your consciousness is aware of what's happening here, right now, while you're present. It's not at the school. It's not at the neighbors. It's not at a friend's. It's not at a coffee shop. It's not sleeping. It is here now. And that is all you have. So if your choices and decisions and programs that all can be set forth from this space, imagine what this reality could be experienced as, right? So it's so much fun. I actually have some really super fun things to share on next week's show. And that's what I'm going to deliver to you now. Something that you can get excited about next week is I learned what I would say, energetic viewpoint of instantaneously hopping parallels. So it would be like, if we're looking at the last two episodes that we've been talking about manifesting the dollar coin, we're going to keep speaking into that because it's the simplest way for me to deliver a message with clarity. It would be, okay, so I would like to source a dollar coin. Okay, I did that. No big deal. I found one. Not only did I find one, I found 5. And I'm going to change that 5 into 5 million. let's just play in that spot. If you're going to play big. Like, why not? Right? So if you're going to step into it, like you want to be in a holy shit, that's so true, nothing is impossible space, that's where I'd like you to play. If you did that, there is the ability to see it and actualize it crossing parallels. Go figure on that one. It's so much fun. Next week, I'm going to tell you all about it, and we're going to walk right through it. I'm actually going to walk you through how to do it. Right now, you get to notice all the programs that you've brought forth into your conscious awareness now by merely asking to source a dollar coin. And if you didn't source one last week and now you've identified some programs, be excited, because you're going to look now into what's possible in moving the programs and opening them up so that you can have anything you want based on a dollar coin. Simple as that. And if you haven't been able to identify it, find me you can jump into my Facebook group. It's called Holographic Wellness Initiative. We talk about stuff like that in there. And we have the Crossroads Academy where you can jump in and play with me there. And we talk about all these things, and you can learn how to raise your frequency in order to be tuned to all those things you'd like, because the unseen and the seen are here now. It's all here, the unseen and the seen. So if you're not seeing it, it's because the frequency of you residing in this body now is not tuned to the frequency of seeing it. It doesn't mean it isn't there. It means that you just haven't tuned in. Your goggles are not actually tuned to the right frequency in order to see it, but it is here in front of you right now. So that dollar coin exists in your reality somewhere. The second that you allow yourself to see it, you will. And those programs, if they're in the way, no, we'll shift that. Maybe you can decide to shift it on your own. I'm not just empowering you, I'm empowering you to know that it's possible. So move those suckers out. And if not, come find me and we'll do it together. So next week's going to be super fun. We're going to look into how we can pull forward, step into new realities, jump parallels, super easy. And it starts with sourcing a dollar coin. So I'm going to lean into it again. So the Facebook name, thank you, Christine, is Holographic Wellness Initiative. That's the big one. And we have another one that's the Crossroads to Awakening, right? So you can jump into a paid community and play with me there on purpose, or you can jump into the Holographic Wellness Initiative so that you can see what's going on in there. If you're just learning about me now, if you're just figuring me out and you're seeing the weirdness of me and you're like, Dan, I can listen a little bit more. I could learn more from here. Jump in. Let's play. I mean, everything stems from somewhere. Holographic Wellness Initiative is the bigger space where we talk about like green living, your body, all those kind of fun things, right? So moving into next week, source some dollar coins. And I say some because sourcing one, maybe that limited you. I don't know. I'm going to lean into the positive side. Maybe just sourcing one was a limitation. Source shit tons. I don't know how many that is for you. Maybe it's 5 or maybe it's 5,000. I don't know. See what it is. And listen, I'm going to give you a little secret. Jumping into another parallel requires you to be open to all possibilities. Meaning if you're going to source one, you can source many and you don't know how many that is. And you're not attached to the outcome. You're not attached to how many that is and what it looks like. You're just open to it. And here's a secret key. It could come in multiple ways because a dollar coin is just energy. It's a frequency, just like everything else in this reality. If you don't believe me, look up science. You'll find it everywhere. Super easy. So it's been really fun playing with you today. I know it felt like a big, huge, topic, but it was an awakening of sorts. That's what this show's for. Awaken to all your possibilities. You're on that crossroads and you get to step in. You get to choose a fork. Which lane would you like to choose? Keep coming with me. Keep finding out more about yourself and how you can awaken to your greater possibilities, your greatest possibilities in this reality now, because it's all we have. We'll see you next week. I'm so excited to play here with you. Where's that coin?
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey and we'll meet you at the crossroads.